Valhalla
The Dark Mountains.
is the expansion for Champions of Midgard.
About time. Woo!
Welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Rod.
If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, click the button and subscribe. And every single week, we'll give you a brand new video review about a board game. And we'll tell you right up front if we think that you should buy it, play it, or hate it. Green means go buy this game and add it to your collection. White means maybe you wouldn't buy it, but you'd play somebody else's copy. And then red means you wouldn't buy it and you wouldn't play it because you hate it. Today, we are looking at the expansions for Champions of Midgard.
Look at everything. So much stuff. Love it.
It's everywhere, right?
It's awesome.
Okay, so let's give our rating right up front.
Okay.
What we think about this game, the expansion specifically. So we already did a video review of the base game, which is like this half of the board, or that 2/3 of the board. All here is that. And then what we're going to be rating today are the expansions that add on, which is two separate expansions that are added into this one. It's Valhalla and the Dark Mountains. Right. Two expansions. We're just going to do them all together.
Right. Just as one game.
One game, all together with the expansions. What do we think that you should do? And
all right, we ready? And over we go. Yes. I think you guys should probably tell how we felt about the game just by our smiling.
It's awesome.
It's incredible.
It's awesome.
Where do you start? First of all, we don't do that many expansions when we do ours. Usually it's a base game, but we like the game so much. The first, this base game that we had to get these expansions, and when the expansions came and then we played, this is a fantastic game. There's not anything I can really. The only thing would be that there's just so many pieces. But hey, it's awesome. It's awesome.
So let's talk about that then. That's definitely a huge point of the game is all of this stuff that they give you. I mean, you got new dice that come in this one. You've got blue dice, which is a leader dice, pink dice, which is a berserker, the green dice, which is an archer. Right. I think that's it, right? They added those.
3 and 4, right? Yeah.
And then the yellow dice, which adds the shields and attack. So this is the new one. So they've added new dice into the game, which is really cool, and we'll talk all about that. You've got these Valhalla tokens that you get to collect. So every time a type of warrior dies, you get a token of that kind. Right. You get new cards that are just for Valhalla. So you've got these monsters that you can fight at the top, which require. So it might say you need 2 pink, 2 black, and 2 red. And if you do, then you get that card. There's only 3 of those in the whole game. And if you get that, it's going to give you victory points and then an end game victory point condition. Like you get 3 points for every, Bergrazar that you've killed. And so there's only 3 of those. But then the other Valhalla cards, so once those top 3 are bought, you don't get any more. But then these other ones keep rotating out. And these give you a smaller benefit of some kind. Sure. And so that's pretty cool.
Well, the one thing, when we talk about expansions on games, a lot of times those expansions can take the game out of its game, I guess. That's the best way really to put it. But the thing is that it was already such a good game. My concern was that this was going to make it unbalanced in some way, or it was just going to be something tedious that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, because a lot of times they do. Because people are demanding an expansion, and so they think that means complicate it more.
Right.
And sometimes you don't want that.
Right, exactly. And then with this game, I think it just flows nicely. I mean, if you threw somebody at the table, they didn't know anything about these being expansions or not, they would have thought this was one whole game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. There would be a lot to take in, I think, when you first saw it. But basically, if you're familiar with the base game, all that they added was something that had to do with when your dudes die. Right. And then they added one location where you could go fight something else. So instead of fighting the troll or fighting the Draugr, now you get to go up and you can fight the Bergrazar, if that's how you even say it. I don't know. And so that was it. And very similar to going down here on the bottoms to fight this monster, how you had an encounter card. That's all that they added in the Dark Mountain is to go up to the Bergrazar, you have an encounter card that you're going to hit, and then you fight the monster. It's almost identical to the bottom. So as far as like what you said, complicating things, they really didn't. They just added a new location, and then they added something that happens when your dudes die.
Did they add anything new here?
Yes, they added, it's a 5th player, so now you can add 5 people to the game. And then they changed a lot of the things, like some of the monsters. There's new monsters that attack in different ways. Like this one here says you give one blame at the start of each round of combat. So there's not a like a damage that it does. So your dudes are going to live every time, but every time you fight it, you get a blame token, and those blame tokens add up at the end.
Sure.
And then there's another one here down in the monsters that this says it slays all who roll blanks. So the damage that this does is only to the ones that don't add to the combat. And so that's cool. So they added just more monsters, a little different attack ability, so it didn't really complicate anymore. You could literally pick up the card and understand what you need to do. And so that was neat. Added a little bit of a different replayability. There are new Destiny cards, I think, new Runesmith cards, and new Market cards, I believe. That have to do with new dice and different things like that. And then they did add one of the market cards is a trader. So you can trade any 2 dice to get another any 2 dice.
And then, of course, the chicken, right?
The chicken. So the chicken is like it's pretty simple. Basically, you pay the cost, which is 2 food and a favor token. And then you get to ignore whatever this card is, and you don't have to pay for food. So you can send your guys on this mission without having any food, and you don't have to worry about what you're going to face there. So that's all that does. But it's really stinking cool.
It is. I mean, the game just so well thought out, and I enjoy the whole worker placement with the battles in it. It just rounds out nicely.
Yeah, I think it's crazy how if you're used to worker placement games that just give you a thing and then you do the thing, well, then this adds in the fun of the dice chunking. Yeah. And some people don't like that. Some people want pure worker placement, Euro style, where I know what's going to happen. But this is just it's just simple fun.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the combat portion a lot. That's what to me takes us to the next step. So this be my favorite worker placement game. This is by far it. I just enjoy the battles. I love the artwork on it. They just did such a good job on all the artwork. I like the theme. Mm-hmm. All of it's just so well done.
So my only complaint is that sometimes the point swings come down to the dice. And so like I lost the last game that we played of this by 20 points, but I missed 20 points in killing monsters by like 1 die roll, like it tips over. And so that if that bothers you, it didn't bother me because that's just fun and that's how it goes and that's dice. But for some people, they just can't take that kind of thing.
Well, but the one thing nice about this game is that you have a lot of control over that aspect. And what I mean by that is how much dice you go up there with.
Yeah,
that type of thing. Mm-hmm. You're loading up the dice and stuff, and so you can make it. So if you build up all your dice, you've got a pretty good chance. You've got a really good chance of probably winning that battle. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the thing is, in which dice you pick, which adds a lot of strategy to it, also.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a fantastic game. I think it's a future Hall of Fame. Did we put it in the Hall of Fame? Did you pick it last time?
No.
It's definitely a future Hall of Famer game.
Well, don't ruin it.
Well,
it possibly
could be,
unless something else takes its place.
Exactly.
It's just cool. There is a leader die that you get in here, which is cool. We didn't talk about that, but you can roll the leader die, and he goes out to battle. And so he can fight and he can die just like anybody else. But if he lands on the Viking helmet side, then he gives you a special ability. And these are affinities for each different character. It's different. So my leader here says I get to take a token of your choice from the supply. So I could get maybe a Valhalla token that I hadn't been able to get yet. And so that's kind of cool. You can get them back by buying a Valhalla card up here. So if this guy ever dies for some reason, there's that. We didn't talk about the dice that are different in this one. There's a Berserker die, which is, it's got 2 hits on 4 of the sides. 1, 2, 3, 3 of the sides. So it's a stronger die, and you're probably going to roll 2 hits on it. The only negative to this die is if any of your dice have to die in a round, these guys go first.
Right.
And that's bad. There's a green archer die that if you go hunting, it has a little deer symbol on it. And so if that comes up, then you get to take 2 food instead of just the 1 hit that it would have been like normal. And then the yellow die is pretty much like the others, but it has on all of the defense, it also does a hit. So you're going to protect yourself and you're going to hit at the same time. So that's kind of neat. The yellow dice and the red dice, the pink dice, you can only get by either going to Valhalla or by trading for them. So these are a little bit harder to come by in the game, and so they're a little bit more valuable. But in order to get these higher priced ones, some of these guys might have to die.
And currently, I mean, what, 2 hours, 5-player, right? That's about what we.
I guess, yeah. I can't remember how much it's been taking us.
I want to say that it was 2 hours, about just over 2 hours. So that plays out at a fairly good rate. Mm-hmm. It's not too long, which I don't think there's too long of a game. But some people, they don't like long games. But that plays out pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. You get through the first round, and then pretty much it gets going.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows, and you just keep cruising on through.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a great game.
Highly recommended.
Just look forward to seeing more games coming out from this company.
Yeah, that's it. So,
all
right. We got a lot more reviews on our website, boardgamecloset.com. We also do an audio podcast. So if you're interested in that, check it out. And as always,
support your local hobby shop.
Do it.